So many shows, so many shows.com, so many mashups. This is Mike, this is Pete, this is NFL Draft 2026 preview, mock draft, review, reactions, whatever the hell you want to call it. What's up, Mike?
Not too much. I am excited about this draft this year. You must be excited. You got two first round picks
I'm
for
not.
the
We're gonna
Jets.
fucking blow it. I would be more excited if we ended up trading those two picks for Patrick Mahomes. So
Oh, okay.
I do want to ask you real quick because I was looking through the thing. Oh, there it is. I thought Minnesota didn't have a pick, but Minnesota does have a pick. So I guess basically what we're going to do for this mashup, the idea was we'll go through the top 10 picks, who we think should go where. And if we don't know the names, positions, at least what position should be there, we're going to break it down, the right way. Then I figure we'll skip ahead to the Minnesota pick and the Jets pick later on in the teens and kind of just break those down since that's your team and you probably have more insight. And, I always have a lot to say about the Jets. I don't really want to go through all 32 teams one at a time because that just takes up way too much time. If we were going to do that, I would have did like a 3-part thing and no one would listen to the other 2 parts because who cares about picks 12 through 32? Realistically, everybody knows the top 10 picks are the fucking real deal. I'll say this. What's up, Mike?
Oh, not too much. Like I said, excited about the draft coming up. Yes, the Vikings are my number one team, but I love draft day, draft weekend is always on the back, of my mind. So it's like, oh, what team is going to improve their team better, with these rookies coming in?
Well, have you ever seen the movie Draft Day?
Yes, a couple times.
Great movie. Let me ask you this. The Minnesota Viking fan your whole life?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think is considered the greatest draft pick the Vikings ever did in their life?
Ooh, let's see here. Well, that's be
The
Randy
answer's easy.
Moss.
I can tell you the answer.
Randy Moss. No. Who do
Uh,
you got?
Justin Jefferson.
Oh, there you go.
Absolutely. He is their only reason why the Minnesota's been relevant for the last 3 years. Let's be
Yes.
realistic here. Everybody else just has been terrible for Minnesota.
Yeah, the picks that they've had the last 15, 20 years, only a handful of any of them have even worked out.
I want to say the Jets, Keyshawn Johnson, but that's because that's like my favorite Jet ever of all time. Revis was a close second.
Ah, Rivas
But
Island. Yeah.
yeah, Revis Island was. I mean, I guess probably Revis was their greatest draft pick, but I was a Keyshawn Johnson guy. So
Yeah.
now let's just go right to the draft. The first pick in the draft is the Raiders, and I think we can. Well, I don't know what you feel like. I think it's going to be Mendoza. They already declared Mendoza. I think Tom Brady's already coaching this guy.
Yes.
And is it true that Kirk Cousins went to the Raiders?
Yeah, he signed a 1 year, basically a $20 million contract. It was like a 4 or 5 year contract, but it's only like the first year, it's like a 20 mil contract, and then they can cut them after that if they go to
I
Mendoza.
was reading. Is it true? Was it? I think it was this guy. There was like a stat like Kirk Cousins, the only quarterback to play like for the last 13 seasons with guaranteed contract every season.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because he kept
And
on getting franchise tagged.
yeah, so yeah, good. You know what? Honestly, good for Kirk Cousins because we always talk about how, I'm going to try to beat the system. I want to beat the system. Let me tell you something, my friends. If you're watching football in the football world, Kirk Cousins has defeated the system
Yes, because
because
only one playoff win, and he's made, I
not
think,
even
more
that. He
money
hasn't even like
now than
listen,
Tom Brady.
he has played and he has been good and he has taken hits. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of time when he's been getting paid to sit on the fucking bench. He was a backup for like 2 years at one point, and nobody even heard of him, and he was still getting paid top money.
I don't think he was being paid top money those 2 years. Was
What
that
do you
the
consider
the
top
rookie
money? Because
season?
for me, top money is anywhere over 5 million. Because that to me, that's top money. I'm not talking about top QB money like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I'm talking about top money for people like Mike and Pete who sit here and do the mashup and be like, "Wow, this guy's getting paid $8 million to sit home. That's top money."
Yeah, it's true. Good point.
You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, for real. But I do think Mendoza's a no-brainer. Mendoza's definitely going to be the pick.
Yes, Mendoza. I mean, even Kirk Cousins went out there saying that, it's going to be nice to go to the Raiders and work with Mendoza. So it's already been out there for a while.
I don't really have an opinion here because I watched him play in college. I watched a lot of good quarterbacks in college suck in the NFL, but I don't want to say that he's going to suck because I haven't really seen, enough to make my own decision. So I'm not going to sit there and shit on this pick for the Raiders. I don't think that Mendoza is going to be a Super Bowl champion in 2 to 3 years. He does have a chance to be like, just a good quarterback and keep the team relevant for a long time. Like I think of like a Phillip Rivers or like a Joe Burrow, a quarterback who pretty much does everything they can. They're a good quarterback, but they're not their teams. Like I don't see Cincinnati winning the Super Bowl this year. I don't see the Chargers winning. You know what I'm saying? But like
Yeah.
I could see them being relevant, and I could see these teams being in the playoffs and having a good run. But it's just I feel like Mendoza. Okay, well, we'll leave it at this. The last question for you: does Mendoza win a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback before he retires?
I'm gonna say no.
No, I agree. But he'll be a good quarterback. He'll get paid a lot of money, and good for him. I like his spunk. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
We'll move on to pick number two, which so now in the beginning they said this was going to be a trade back from the Jets, and now they have the Jets taking this giant goon, David Bailey, from the edge rusher from Texas Tech because free agency wise and the trading wise, they cleared up a lot of the defensive linemen just for this position to be covered and to move. With someone like this, you could move to a 3-4. You don't need to run a 4-3, or you could, put him as a linebacker if you wanted to at some point.
Oh, okay.
So you can run both. You could pretty much have a hybrid defense, which Aaron Glenn is a defensive genius, and this is all part of the Jets rebuild. If that's the pick, what do you think the pick is here? You think that an edge rusher fits the Jets? You think they trade? What do you think?
I mean, trades could happen at any time throughout the draft. We've seen it happen. I think they stay pat here and either address it with either Bailey or Arvell Reese. Both of them are edge linebackers or
And
edge
Reese is going to
defensive.
go. Yeah, this is listen, pending trades, this is pick 2 and 3. And the
Yep.
Cardinals are pick 3. And they're both guys that can pretty much run both and make your offense a hybrid. In the beginning, they had the Reese go into the Jets. And then they moved it over to Bailey most recently. So it's pretty much going to be at, Aaron Glenn's disposition. But I know Bailey is a big dude. And Texas Tech was really good football team this year, which they haven't been in the past because of him. Where Ohio State is always a champion, so you wonder if Reese was just a product of a good defense, or if Bailey was the reason why Texas Tech had a good defense. Was he
Yep.
the reason why So I'm gonna go with Bailey for 2 and Reese for 3 here, just because with Bailey's what is those, like the ladder or whatever they call it. This is their version of Aiden Hutchinson, like they got in the Lions when Aaron Glenn was on the Lions. And we all know from the Crosby incident and the Myles Garrett situation how an edge rusher can change a culture.
Yep.
So I'm going to agree with that and say the Cardinals grab themselves a winner here. And then this is an interesting pick for me on number 4 in the mock draft. I don't know who you got on your 4 as number 4 in your mock draft, but the Tennessee Titans got Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame.
I've been seeing Love either pop up with the Cardinals with that third pick or with for sure the Titans in the fourth pick. Because I've heard the Titans they're running like yards per game last year were just absolutely dismal. So they might try to address their running back issue here at the number 4 pick.
So here's my problem. You got Cam Ward, and you
Yep.
have this offensive tackle from Miami.
Yes.
At number 5, you are the Titans. Yes, you need a running back. However, in my opinion, Breece Hall is an all-star stud running back on any team except for the Jets and probably the Raiders and some of these other teams. So if you're the Titans, is a running back really going to solve your problem, or is your running back going to put you in the same problem the Jets are in, which is, and I'm going to get to that soon enough at the end of this mashup before we go, but the idea is that you have a receiver in Garrett Wilson. You have a running back in Breece Hall. You have a tight end in this guy. You have a couple of linemen now. You have 5 guys on the defense that are solid.
Yep.
But you don't have a fucking quarterback. And you should be able to plug and play any quarterback into the scenario.
Yep.
But even when you did plug a quarterback into the scenario, still the running back isn't going to change the difference. Like, that's not going to help Cam Ward's offense because he's still going to get smashed every fucking play.
Yep.
You need to go and get the guy from Miami and change up this whole fucking draft if you're going to do something like this. You need a lineman, definitely. Let the running back go. The Giants won't take the running back. Then maybe the Browns or the Commanders look at the running back. But I don't like this pick for Tennessee. I think it's a mistake. I understand that they had Derrick Henry at one point, and you want to set up the run to set the pass and play action and everything else. But like I said, we looked at Las Vegas Raiders with Gentry last year,
Yep.
with Geno Smith, and now we're going to look at the Jets this year with Breece Hall and Geno Smith. And I can tell you right now, both those teams are not going to run for shit.
Yes.
So this guy's an all-star, but I feel like you have so much other value. You could even trade back for this pick. Trade out of here, get out of here, and go and just back the fuck up, and you can get other shit for it.
Oh, you mean trying to get the tackle or
Not even that, just
running back?
trading the 4th overall pick to a team for a pick in the second round and a pick in the late first round, then go get yourselves some offensive linemen later on in the round.
Oh, I see.
Like get some real help, or just go get this offensive tackle from Miami and tell the Giants how bad you like Scarborough, because back to what I. Yeah, but back to like I'm saying, yeah, because here we are. the Giants, I got them with that offensive tackle from Miami or the guy from Utah. So either way, the Giants are going to get help for their offensive line.
Yep.
And, so yeah, that's the only questionable call so far is a Tennessee guy. And then back to here where we are, where the Cleveland Browns are looking at an offensive tackle, the Giants looking at an offensive tackle. So now if the Titans go and if the Titans take an offensive tackle and the Giants take an offensive tackle, do the Browns then go and say, hey, listen, this Notre Dame running back, I love him, no pun intended. Did he fall into their lap then? And do the Cleveland Browns go for that? Because then, where's the next offensive guy at? The next offensive tackle on the board, I can tell you for a fact, goes pretty far down. It's actually not even a tackle, it's a guard, and it's projected for number 17.
Yep.
So this is a situation where I say, if you're Tennessee, you try to trade that pick to Cleveland, give them the guy. Yeah, give them the guy. And you can, listen, I'm not saying that Cleveland doesn't need people. What I'm saying is Tennessee needs a lot more people. And if they can get that and another pick from Cleveland down the road later on, I mean, I that's what I would do personally, but I'm not the one making these plays. What do you think?
I think Tennessee will stay pat with number 4, and they might just mess it up, get Love, and try to address the offensive lineman in the second round. Because
we all know how great second round offensive linemen are in the NFL. Let's go compare them to the first round.
Well, you said that the tackles fall, further down. The next offensive lineman you said is like a guard or something like that at 17. But I mean, everybody has their players ranked a certain way, and it's going to be interesting to see how these teams, will they run to the podium, or will they take all their 15 minutes through, or is it 15 minutes still per round or for the first round picks? I can't remember. I can't remember if they trimmed that down.
I believe they moved to 12 or 10. It's okay. Quicker now because on the weeknights and whatever. However, we're halfway through the first round, and we're going to only do the top 10 or whatever. Halfway through the first 10 or whatever, or 12. I want to stop and I want to address something. The Rams. So the Rams supposedly, right? You look at the stat, like for the last 15 years or something like that, they've only taken one draft pick, and they've traded their number 1 pick for 14 years in a row. One of them was a year where they traded the 3 first round picks for Stafford or something.
Yep.
But so the Rams have a strategy in their mind, which is we don't give a shit about these first round picks and the plays we're going to get for these first round picks. We want to go and get a player who's better, who's already proven, or somebody. Proven, yeah. So they've been doing that for a while, and they basically don't give a shit about the draft. And I got to be honest with you, just from watching the Jets draft wrong, if you don't draft right, which most organizations, have a strategy, and the Eagles always do good, and this team does good, the Falcons. But when you look at teams like the Jets and the Browns and the Titans, even the Chargers, you're like, these guys have got it wrong over and over and over again. And I got to tell you, I'm sitting here if I'm the Jets, you have all these draft picks, just go with the Ram strategy. Just go get veterans, make yourself a sick team together, and put it together the right way. I think the Rams got it right, honestly. And as exciting as the draft is, that ship has sailed a long time ago, being ready for a new jet to come in and change the culture. That's what I'm saying about that. And then we move on to the pick number 7, which is the Commanders, which we start to go back to our defensive picks, which is there's another guy from Ohio State, which is back to what I was saying last time. You'll see in the first round, there's 3 or 4 defensive men from Ohio State on that projected thing. A bunch of Ohio States on offense and defense. You know what I don't see a lot of? I don't see a lot of Texas Tech members in the first round, which tells me that guy Bailey was really good. So I mean, like I said, even being a Jeff fan, as excited as I am to have this big guy crushing people and pancaking people and holding shit down and being some big tough guy on our defensive line next year, because I do root for my team, but I wouldn't be so sad either if they were to trade that pick away. Trade the Jets would trade the number 2 overall pick and either get themselves, a couple of players that can start now.
Oh, I see.
Or even more draft picks in the future and really load it up, because until you have a quarterback, you don't got nothing.
Yeah.
So that's it. Washington Commanders, they're looking for a linebacker. Ohio State. The Saints are up after. They're looking at edge rusher for Miami. Then you got to the Chiefs, which actually I know this guy, Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State. He's projected to go to the Chiefs. I think this is a really good pick for them, because this guy's really fast and he's good and he's explosive. And it's another situation where you're not going to see a lot of Arizona State guys getting, drafted in the first round, but they made the playoffs. So you start to think to yourself, if this team made the playoffs, and they didn't have a lot of guys in the first round, then why they make the playoffs. And then you start
Yeah.
to look at this receiver and his statistics, and you're like, oh, well, because they had a guy running wide open every play, and they were able to throw underneath, and they were able to run a play action, and their defense, was coming to the field with some runs on the board or points on the board so they can take care of their business. So, when you look at teams like that where there's not a lot of members going in the first round and you see that guy up there, you got to think that guy was holding shit down the right way. So I'm excited for this pick for Kansas City. They haven't been great in a few years now, a couple of years, and Kelsey's coming back to do it again. The Chiefs, vow to be good again. They got the right pieces. They got a great coach and a great quarterback, and that's your start, and that's what the Jets don't have. And Vikings too, probably. So next pick will be the Bengals. They're looking at a cornerback from LSU. Then we go to the Dolphins, who will look at the wide receiver, Tate from the Ohio State.
Yep.
And the last pick we'll go on is Downs, which is another safety from Ohio State. So you notice how I said a lot of this Ohio State stuff?
Yeah, is it because or yeah, were they a good defense because of this one player because they had multiple players that are projected to go in the top 15 here. Yep.
Yeah, so Ohio State had, out of the 12 people mentioned, like half of them are Ohio State guys. So that's why I said when you're looking at your edge rusher for the Jets, the number 2 pick or the number 3 pick, you might not want to go with a guy who's surrounded by all-stars the whole career. You might want to go with a guy who had to earn his way and make his team better just by his play.
Yes.
Now, do you have the 13th overall pick in your front of you right now?
Yeah, it's wide receiver for the Rams or for the USC.
Yes.
Lemon.
Yes. So now, interesting. I didn't want to do 13, but we'll do, lucky 13 here because it is a Rams pick, and we did talk about how the Rams don't keep first round picks. I do believe this pick will be traded. I do know that they were trying to trade Devontae Adams.
No,
and
really?
not actively trying to trade him, but like teams were calling on, looking into Devontae Adams and whatever. Also, let's not forget that the news that came out that Puka is in rehab currently.
Yeah.
So the Rams need wide receivers. So you got to think if they trade this pick, it'll be for a wide receiver. And there was big talk that they wanted to trade for A.J. Brown and that Devontae Adams would have been involved in an A.J. Brown trade. Looks like A.J. Brown is going to the Patriots, who have their own news stories coming out about their coach cheating on his wife with a reporter who's cheating on her husband.
I thought that was the Patriots. Patriots.
Yes.
Oh, Patriots. Sorry, I thought you said Steelers. Sorry.
No, Patriots, and that's where A.J. Brown is projectedly going once that June 1st deadline hits.
Okay.
So the Patriots are supposed to get A.J. Brown and their coaches getting it on, even though it's like immoral because they both involved in serious relationships and marriages and
yes.
Whatever the case is.
Who was the band that was doing the camera views of the audience and they caught 2 people cheating?
The Coldplay concert.
Coldplay, yes.
So listen, we don't get into gossip. I say, whatever it is, none of my business. I think the Rams have to draft the wide receiver in the spot now that we're talking about it because Adams is leaving and Puka, who knows if he's ever going to be the same again and if this is not, it's going to be start of Puka's Tiger Woods career. Yeah, speaking of Tiger Woods, he's also taking a break from competition to take care of himself. We wish Puka and Tiger and everybody nothing but the best and hope a good recovery and, quit the bullshit. We need you. You're good for the sport. You're good for the world. You're good for everybody. So just cut the bullshit. We don't do that shit. We can't. So you shouldn't be allowed to either. But anyway, yeah. So now I'm going to scroll down a little bit. We're going to go to my team and your team. We'll start with the Jets. Their second pick in the first round, which is the 16th overall pick from Indianapolis for the Sauce Gardner trade, I believe, right?
Yes.
And they had projected as a wide receiver. Again, I understand you want to get weapons, but then you're going to have 2 good wide receivers, a good tight end, a good running back, and a shit offensive line and a shit quarterback. And that's not going to do nothing for you because everybody's going to say, oh, we'll just run a soft zone, a dime prevent zone, and make sure that everything's in front of you. Bend but don't break, and we can destroy the Jets. So unless this is some clever strategy by Aaron Glenn, who made a deal with Woody Johnson that you can't talk about because tanking is illegal, and it's going to lead to us getting some sort of superstar quarterback, I don't think the Jets are fooling anybody. I think this is still going to be a circus, a clown show. I wish them nothing but the best, but expecting the worst as always as a Jeff fan. And we're going to go with our last topic here, which would be the Minnesota Vikings looking at a safety from Toledo to replace Harrison Smith, who might not be back.
Yeah, but I hope it's not the one they have listed here.
Emmanuel McNeil Warren.
Yeah, I hope it's actually Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, the safety from Oregon. Or if the tight end Sadiq falls down to this spot, I'd love to have that tight end as well. So I'm hoping it's not this tight end or not this safety that they have listed, but I didn't watch too much tape on this guy, so I don't know how he compares to Thieneman. We'll see. I'd love to see either like a safety, defensive tackle, tight end, or possibly wide receiver in this spot because that's some of the holes that we have on the Vikings team
Who's
is,
throwing the football for you next year?
well, it's going to most likely be Kyler Murray.
So then who gives a shit about who the fuck is playing safety or tight end or anything? Because you're gonna suck.
We'll see. I hope not, but we'll see.
The Vikings are so bad they might have a worse record than the Jets next year.
Hey, then we get a better pick than you guys then.
Free Justin Jefferson. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let the guy go, please, for the love of God. All he's done was help out the Vikings. The Vikings are in trouble. They're a shit show. The Jets are in trouble. They're a shit show. But the NFL is a wonderful thing, and we love football. And even though our teams are shit shows, we still love the game, and we root for other teams. Let's
Yeah.
go Texans for the love of the game. Anything else before we say goodbye?
I had written down a couple of questions here.
Go for it.
Which defensive back do you think goes off the board first, Delane or McCoy? Have you looked into those two at all or not?
Yeah, I think that's a toss up. It depends, like we said, because of the trades. I can easily see trades where, they're gonna go close to each other.
Okay. And then between the five teams that have two first round picks, the Jets, Browns, Chiefs, Cowboys, and Dolphins, which team do you think helps themselves the most in the first
The
round with their first pick?
Chiefs,
Yeah. I mean,
because they have the best roster to begin with, along with those picks, because whatever. I
yeah.
also think the Cowboys will be all right too.
Okay. And I see this guy being possibly selected in the first round, either from the 16th pick to the Jets or the Steelers' first round pick. But do you see Ty Simpson going in the first round this year?
No, nobody sees Ty Simpson going in the first round. What happened here was Dan Orlovsky said Ty Simpson is the best quarterback in the NFL because he wanted to take a shot at Mendoza.
Okay.
You would be insane. Listen, if the Jets didn't go out and get Geno Smith in the offseason, then I would say you're going to get Ty Simpson at 16 because you're going to put a rookie quarterback out there and say, you know what, we'll give the rookie a shot. He has 1 year. If he doesn't work out, then we have another first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
But you went to go get Geno Smith for a reason. I don't know what that reason was, but it wasn't to back up. It was to start. It was to be a starting quarterback for the Jets. So you were going to watch them try to improve every position except for quarterback, which means they have plans for a quarterback to go actively pursue a quarterback next season, no matter whom it may be and no matter what their situation may be.
Okay.
So I'm not saying they're going to tank on purpose, but they might wrap up 4 first-round picks next year and go get Joe Burrow, go get this guy, or go get Archie Man, whoever's out there.
Yes.
The guy from Oregon, they might give 2 first-rounders to get that spot. We don't know. So like I said, they got something in them. They're not going actively after quarterback this year. So I don't know if they looked at the guys and said these aren't our guys, because if they were the guys, then you would see Ty Simpson on any one of these mock drafts going to the Jets in the first round, which he is not.
I don't see Ty Simpson going in the first round, especially if he gets past the Steelers.
But I can see him going in the second round to the Jets.
Yeah, I could see him definitely being the second round pick to, I think the Jets have,
or the Cardinals or the Titans or any one of these teams that are looking to just get a guy, just in case. Like he's not going to get banished to the 5th round. He'll definitely get drafted higher up.
Yeah. Okay. So the Jets have the first round or first pick in the second round, or Cardinals with the second round pick. So yeah, I could see Ty Simpson going to either one of those two teams in that second round if he gets past the Steelers at 21, unless another team that has like a pick that it's behind the Cardinals or the Jets there in the second round try to jump up and try to get ahead at 32 or 31 to select their future possible quarterback. So awesome.
What else? You got anything?
Excited. Nope, that was it for my questions. I'm excited about this draft. Every year it's like you kind of wonder what teams are going to trade back or what teams are going to try to overly pursue and trade up. So
I'm glad you segued me for that. I'm going to make a bold prediction here like I often do for our TV shows and for everything else. I'm going to say that there is no trades in the first round of the draft this year.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to say there's going to be 5 first
round. I thought
round
you were going to say there's going to be 32 trades. I'll say, go away. There's going to be 32 trades.
Not that far
says,
opposite.
Mike says 5. I say 0. You have to tune in to find out who's right. We'll have a review afterwards, the day after the draft or the weekend after the draft. We'll put something out there so I could be like, Mike, see, you were wrong, you suck. Or Mike could tell me that I suck, or whatever it is. So many shows.com, so many mashups, NFL draft for Mike, for Pete. Good luck to Mendoza and everybody else involved. Check Check us out on YouTube and all our social media. Have a good one.
Good luck to all the prospects, and take care, and talk to you on the next one.
Well, later. 35 red, blue, set up.